Hello, everyone. My guest today is Erik Huddleston. He's an expert in PR analytics and big data. Before leading his current company, TrendKite, he ran product for Sprinklr after the merger with social analytics firm Dachis Group. He brought to market Dachis Group's platform that enables brands to optimize paid, owned, and earned tactics through the lens of earned media. Erik, are you ready to take us to the top?
Awesome.
All right. So let's start first at Sprinklr. We just had Raji on actually very recently, shared with some revenue numbers, doing a well over $180 million a year now. Interesting lawsuit just filed against him, $50 million. We'll see. I'm sure he'll be fine there. But what did you do at Sprinklr and why leave to launch TrendKite?
Yeah, absolutely. So I ran product for Raji, and they are doing a phenomenal job after they acquired Dachis Group, which I built a big data analytics platform. They analyze social data that helped brands and their agencies to optimize their paid, owned, and earned activities. And that was acquired by Sprinklr to really get a core of an analytic engine and then some deep benchmarking. We had built a map of about 50,000 companies and their brands across all their geographies, their social footprints. And then did deep benchmarking of the performance of all of those. So while Sprinklr is obviously going to be a phenomenal success, the real lure of TrendKite really is firmly entrenched in earned media. If you back up and you talk about the way that CMOs think about media, they think of it in terms of paid, owned, earned, and shared. So paid, you can think you're buying, display ads, et cetera. If you own, this is like your blog posts, your website, even to an extent, your own social presences. Shared, this is conversations taking place on social media. And then earned, you're really talking about the high credibility endorsement that comes from third parties.
So Erik, when did you launch TrendKite?
I was employee number 7, got here in the middle of 2014, and the company was started a year earlier by a couple of guys that went through an accelerator called Dream It.
Okay, so it's 2013 launch. Now, did Dream It strategically place you at the company after demo day, or how did that happen?
So after demo day, they pulled together an investment from a Austin-focused firm called Silverton. And I was very familiar with the Silverton guys.
Were you in EIR there?
I was not, but their founding partner invested in a company I did all the way back in 1993. So we knew each other for a while, and so they introduced me. I put them in a couple of customers. The customers loved it. And so
was it a contingent financing though? Was your partner at Silverton, he was only going to do the deal and write the check into TrendKite if you joined as CEO?
Yes.
That's typically how these work.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time, Mercury Fund, which at the time was a DFJ affiliate, it's now independent, also invested to build that round. And then, we got momentum. Spent 2014 figuring out the unit economics on the business, attracted an investment from Battery Ventures.
How much have you raised to date?
We've raised about $37 million.
37 million. Okay. And so let me go quick back to the early story, and then I want to get kind of fast forward to where you are today. I mean, when you come into a company like that a year after the founders created, how do you do that in a gentle way, right? Like how do you, I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I'm asking. How do you do that gently?
Yeah, we were radically aligned, and the company was very small. I was employee number 7, and we had a handful of customers. So it was early enough that you didn't have a lot of the pain of an external CEO.
Okay, but still, I mean, there was a financing. It was contingent on you coming in as CEO. That means they didn't think the current founders could. I mean, there's hard conversations there, right? So the reason I'm asking this is for other founders right now, maybe going through demo days, and they're looking at rounds where there's a CEO contingency, right, from outside coming in. How should they handle it? How should they view it?
Yeah, I'll look at it 2 ways. In the TrendKite case, I think the guys probably could have kept going. I think they made the conscious decision that they could accelerate the pace of success and innovation if they brought in an external CEO. Now then, for founders that may not have that option, or even those that do, they really need to look at a trade off of the enterprise value that they can create over what time frame. And if they're confident that they can kind of eke it out with less capital and have a fantastic outcome in a time frame that works for them, then they should say no. But if they're either not confident in their own abilities, or if they're confident that an external CEO could radically accelerate time to kind of critical mass, then it makes total sense.
Okay, let's now focus on kind of where you are today. So, PR plus analytics put together. Give us a story, a customer story, how they use you.
Absolutely. Customers leverage us.
Can you name one though? Can you tell me a specific story?
Sure. Let me think of a great customer. So, Nike leverages us to understand the impact of their image across geographies. Because it varies radically based on what sports are hot in those countries. Who the endorsers are there, the footwear and accessories that are in vogue in those geographies. And you really want to understand how people are talking about though that's your brand image at a high level.
And it sounds like this is a high touch, high ACV kind of model, but what are customers paying you on average? Are we talking $10 a month or $1 million or 100,000?
It's actually pretty transactional for in the grand scheme of things. So, 5 figures to low 6 figures.
Annually or monthly?
Annually.
Annually. Okay, got it. So we'll say conservatively 50 all the way up to well over $100,000. I imagine you have some outliers up there.
We do.
Okay, great. And you mentioned you spent a long time, well, not a long time, but you spent a full year figuring out unit economics. So before you put a focus on that, first off, what made that a priority? Was churn really high or something?
No, it's just, it's what I'd encourage any entrepreneur to do when they're starting out. Once you kind of understand what you're building and how it's going to be valued, your very next task is you need to figure out a model where you can efficiently scale your distribution model. And so, our value prop to our customers at that time was, quantifying the impact that PR had on their media outcomes, and then helping them to optimize that. That was very well understood. So I had confidence in that. What I didn't have confidence in was, how we could efficiently scale our sales engine to hit the growth rates that we wanted to hit, which was, sustained triple-digit growth rates, sort of ad infinitum. So we spent all of our time ensuring that we understood the CAC payback period.
What do you optimize the payback period for right now?
What's that?
What are you trying to optimize payback period for right now?
8 months on a gross profit basis.
Got it. So I like that you said it like that. A lot of people don't multiply by gross profit at the end of the equation, but you do. So exactly. It's a true measure.
Well, it's because what you really want to know is two things. You want to know how much cash it's going to take to acquire the customer. And you want to know how much of that's going to be left over for you to reinvest in getting the next customer. So, how long is it going to take? And I actually look at CAC payback period, both on a revenue basis and a cash basis, which are, if you have, any kind of payment term variance, can be very different.
Yeah. Paid up front versus not paid 2 years up front,
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah. Interesting. So on an 8-month payback and a minimum ACV in that $50,000 range, you said 5 figures up into the 6 figures. You're paying north of $33,000 to acquire these customers, or at least you're comfortable paying that much. Maybe you get some lucky deals, but
we have phenomenal unit economics. So our CAC is very low.
That's great. Well, that is, with an 8-month though, and a $50,000 ACV, that would be about your CAC, right? $33,000 at a minimum.
I won't go into what our actual deal sizes are,
Well, just to be clear, Eric, I'm multiplying your numbers. You said earlier your minimums are in the 5 figures, and you go into the 6 figures.
And then you decided it was 50 grand. So I'm just saying that's not a subject that I'm going to talk about.
Oh, got it.
These are.
Well, I mean, so 5 figures. I mean, so it could be as little as 10 grand all the way up to 90 grand, right? So there's a big range there. So I mean, what I hear you saying is, you're not going to spend 33 grand on a 10 grand, right, per year customer.
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
Sorry, my misunderstanding there. Okay, take me back to some of the kind of team orientation. So what are you at today in terms of size, and how are they oriented?
We've got over 200 employees now, which is up a lot from 7 in 2014. It's the classic breakdown for a B2B SaaS company that does a lot of inbound, outbound telesales. So we've got probably 75 quota carrying reps.
75 out of the total 200. Wow, that's a big chunk of your team are sales folks.
And that's BDR, SDRs, inbound qualifiers, prospectors, like the whole thing. There's a lot of people in that, but yeah.
That's great. And then are they, I mean, so you're running a pretty typical playbook. Like, what do you have a ratio of kind of SDR to AE, like account executive, or what are kind of the internal ratios look like for your machine?
Yeah. So, that depends on the quota capacity of the reps. So the more senior you are, the more marketing support you get on from an outbound standpoint, the more inbounds you get allocated to you. So we actually do something that I call dynamic CAC allocation. So we'll actually bias more support resources to our most efficient closers. And then we'll also build kind of a portfolio, an account portfolio that has a different mix of high value, mid value, low value accounts, depending on how effective they've been executing.
Interesting.
And so it depends.
And at what frequency do you tune that machine? Is that a quarterly kind of review, or annually, or
weekly?
Well, you do that bi-weekly?
Yeah.
You'll change a whole team infrastructure bi-weekly.
What you're really doing there is you're tuning the account allocations and the amount of support that they're getting.
Interesting. Okay, good. And where's everyone based? Where's home?
We're headquartered in Austin. We have folks in the Bay Area. We have an office in London.
Those are the 3 big ones?
Those are the 3 big ones.
Okay.
And then dogs and cats.
And then take me in. I mean, you've done this before. You mentioned unit economics many times. Where are you at now today in terms of either churn or retention, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you kind of watch closer?
Kind of industry standard.
Okay. So you're north of 90% in terms of logo retention. And now have you hit negative net revenue churn? Or you're close?
Churn rates aren't something we talk about, although, that's obviously, where we like to be.
Okay. I mean, most companies, many of the folks I've had on that are in the 100 million ARR range. They've nailed net negative ARR churn. You have to hit that really in most cases. Yeah. So it's fair to say, you're getting there. It sounds like you're very sophisticated in terms of how you're set up your sales team. So expansion revenue is probably something you've also nailed. Do you have pretty predictable kind of year 1 to year 2 to year 3 expansion cohorts, and you know how those are going to perform?
Year 1 to year 2. I mean, you think about it, 2014 to 2017, we're like a toddler stuck in a teenager's body, right? So, we really started to figure out expansion, literally in the last 12 months.
Got it. Yep. And what are the levers you're teaching that team to pull to drive expansion? Is it additional feature sets, or is it additional seats, or some other utility or numerical value?
So, part of it is identifying accounts where there's expansion opportunity. One of the things about our install base is, we work with, virtually every vertical in every geography, enterprise into mid-market. There's some SMB-ish kind of things. You could be like a PR agency with 2 guys and a dog, but you've got Coca-Cola as a client or something. But that's
very Austin, by the way.
Yeah. So, that aside, if you can identify where in that account base there's geographic expansion, brand expansion, business unit expansion, subsidiary parent company relationship expansion. Then you can do land and expand. And then we've got like a very large and very brutally efficient development organization that cranks out new products at a fairly healthy rate. So we've launched 2 major products this year.
And you mentioned you like to kind of go year over year, at least in the triple digits, at least at your current size, until numbers get 100 million kind of ish range where it gets harder.
Yeah.
You think you'll hit that in 2017? You'll be in the triple digits.
We should, and we should be able to in 2018, and then the law of gravity will kind of take effect.
3x, 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 2x, 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 2x IPO, right?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. And then what are you at now today in terms of customers? How many folks are on the platform?
A few thousand.
Okay, a couple thousand. That's good. Can we say below 10,000, but above 1,000?
Oh yeah.
Is that enough? A good enough range?
Yeah.
Eric, I want to give you enough credit, but also let you hold on to some vagueness so that everyone doesn't know what your P&L looks like. You know what I mean? All right, good.
Yes.
So we'll say again with 1,000 customers, and you corrected me earlier. Let's say minimum ACV is 10 grand, right? You guys are north of kind of 830 grand a month in revenue, potentially well north of that because you've got contracts significantly bigger. Do you want to put a cap on that, or just leave it at that minimum?
We'll just leave it.
We'll leave it at that minimum.
Out there.
That's fair. So well north of 833 grand a month, or said differently, well over a $10 million run rate. Healthy growth there. Eric, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's the last business book you read?
Oh my goodness, Ray Dalio's new book.
Principles.
It's phenomenal. Yes,
yeah, Principles is a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Oh, that's actually a good one. If I were to talk about the home team here in Austin, you've got Heather Bruner over at WP Engine, who is kind of our big sister. So I always watch closely what those guys do. So they're like a fullback, making all the tackles, making all the blocks for us, making it easier. And then I've been watching pretty closely the nuanced work that Apple's been having to do here. That's as they kind of matured the product line, and I think that's been fascinating. Particularly,
what are you talking, Eric? What are you talking about?
Talking about kind of the stagnation of Apple, radical innovation.
Got
just
it.
From a scale standpoint.
Where's the growth going to come from after the iPhone?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool besides your own?
Whoa. I'm a huge mind mapping guy, so I love MindMeister. Love Asana. It allows me to scale up on the team, and then we're massive Slack users.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 5 and 6.
That's pretty good. And then what's your situation? Married, single, you have kiddos?
Married with 4 kids.
4. Holy mackerel. How old are you?
I'm 42.
42. Last question, Eric. Take us back 22 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Holy cow. I wish my 22-year-old self would have decided to graduate in 7 years instead of 2.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I ended up getting involved in technology very early on. And so I evolved out of college versus...
You wanted to stay? You think you should have stayed in longer?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Most people say the opposite. They say, I wish I would have started earlier.
Yeah, no.
Stay in college longer. There you guys have it from Eric. Did a lot of important work at Sprinklr before he branched out, joined a company back in 2014. The company was founded in 2013. It's called TrendKite. Went through Dream It Ventures Accelerator program. Then did a round of funding contingent on really Eric coming in, helping the founding team grow the company, scale it. They've done just that. They've raised about $37 million in total. They've passed 200 folks between Austin, San Francisco, and London, combining PR and PR analytics. Super healthy economics. He optimizes for an 8-month payback period with minimum contract values in the 10 grand range, and then also going well north of the 6-figure range. Again, well over 1,000, between 1,000 and 10,000 customers currently doing well north of $10 million in ARR with healthy growth year over year. Eric, thank you for taking us to the top.
Really appreciate it.